If you're like me, spelling and grammar are not necessarily your strong points. Therefore, you want to take advantage of Word's built-in spelling and grammar check. In this video, we're going to show you how it's done automatically and how you can manually run these in order to get the best results of your document. So let's take a look right now. I've got this document. Anywhere you see this little red underline, this is saying that, hey, I think there's a misspelling. Now, sometimes Microsoft just doesn't have like scientific names or words that might be from a foreign language. So anytime you're going to use something like that, you need to double check with your source and make sure it's the right word. You can't trust Microsoft Word if it doesn't have a foreign language dictionary or if it doesn't have the scientific names inside of it. On the other hand, if you know that, hey, this is right, and I'm going to talk a lot about turtles because I'm going to be a marine biologist, I can right-click on this. He gives me some options. I can choose to either ignore. So, hey, ignore this from now on. I don't care about this. Or I can choose to add to dictionary. Adding to dictionary says that not only will it be okay in this document, but it'll be okay in any other document that you open that's using your dictionary. This is a great thing. Now, one other thing you have is right below it, we have add to autocorrect. You might go, well, wait a second, what is this? This is if you commonly misspell a word, maybe your fingers and your keys just kind of don't line up. You're always misspelling it the exact same way. You can say, you know what? I want to automatically autocorrect it to one of these spellings. And it gives you the list that Microsoft thinks the word might be. Now, most of the time I have found that it's the first or second option, but it's making a logical guess, and sometimes it's wrong. And so you always want to check and maybe go, you know what, I don't think it's any of these. That's when you have to go and pull an outside resource. So always know it's an option because it doesn't give you everything. But if you do make the same mistake over and over again, just set it to autocorrect and it will automatically fix it for you. You'll never even see that little red squiggle line. I'm going to choose ignore all because I'm not going to do this very often. I don't need to put this in my dictionary. But here's one. I have toady. When I look at it, clearly it should be today. So I'm going to right click and here's today. It's my third option. So I'm going to click on that. It automatically fixes it. When you submit a document, whether it's to your boss or an instructor or just putting it out there in the world, that's a flyer for your special events or anything like that, make sure that you don't have any spelling errors. That's the first thing that people will catch. And you'd be surprised. People like, they zone in on it. What's even kind of funny about that is if you submit it as a document, as a Word document, they're going to see those spelling mistakes. Now, you may fix a spelling mistake and it's a foreign word or it's a scientific term or something like that that's not in Microsoft. And when the instructor or your boss opens it up, if it's not in their dictionary, they may see it as a misspelling. You can't control that. But anything you can, you should. Which brings me to my next point, which is grammar. Now, there are some tools that you can use that have grammar checker built in, and you got to pay extra for those. Those are even better, but Microsoft provides you a built-in, pretty default grammar checker. Let's take a look at this, okay? Contrary to popular belief, a turtle cannot leave its shell. Well, it notices that cannot should probably be one word, so it's going to right-click on that. Yep, I can change that. The apostrophe was incorrect. The shall grow. If I right-click, it should be grows. That is correct. And I refuse to, it's wrong type of its, spine, and ribs. Now, notice that when I took care of the its, it ignored the issue with the ribs. So we need to go back and fix that. I'm going to go through and read this. And I want to show you why this is only a basic grammar checker and you still need to check for yourself or have someone else check. Contrary to, this type of to, T-O-O, is like also. So I can't say contrary also popular. So I need to take out one of those O's. Now it's a preposition, so write one. Popular believe, this should be belief. You can see the fix there. So you notice that it still missed a couple of things. So you definitely want to capture this. Now, one thing I do want to point out is just like we had a couple that missed, like belief and believe, those were things that it didn't catch that were wrong. It will also sometimes catch things that are actually right. So the English language is extremely complicated. An external grammar checker might be helpful. You knowing what it is or having someone else double check your work is even better. Okay. I've personally used some of these external third-party grammar checkers, and they don't catch everything. Sometimes it's just a style that I'm writing that it doesn't like, and it's still correct. It's just not in their style. Sometimes they misinterpret how it's meant to be used, and they get it wrong. So always check your grammar, double check it, but look for anything that's underlined in blue, and that will help. Now you might say, well, how happens if I wanted to like go back and make sure I didn't miss anything? I've got a large document. I could have just like skipped over something that's in red. Well, if I come up to my ribbon bar and go to my review tab, you notice I have several different options here. One is spelling and grammar, and it will go through and check to see, is there any mistakes? If there's none, it'll say spelling and grammar check is complete. If it finds an issue, it puts it up on the right-hand side. Likewise, I can say imagination. I'm going to highlight that word just by double-clicking on it and select Thesaurus. You notice on the right-hand panel, it comes up with a variety of different words that could be used instead of imagination. So if you find yourself using the same word over and over again, you think, ooh, maybe instead of imagination, I want inspiration, or I want thoughts or imaginings. These are all different types of words that might be good for you to use. You have to pick. Remember, words that are similar are not the same and may not be the right choice. You are the human that has to figure out, is this the best option? So I can include things like a thesaurus, my spelling and grammar, and others. Now, I know this was good for you, and there's a lot of important things that you can do to improve your paper, but there's one more thing I want to show you, and that's coming up in our next video. And that is, we're going to check for readability and statistics. Does the paper meet what is required of your boss, your professor, whoever? So stay tuned for that video. It's next.